the destruction of the multiple underground and undersea bases on Earth, and quite simply the removal of these malevolent reptilians and their regressive gray associates from our world. I think sometimes the Greys have participated willingly and sometimes not, but they still work together, and it's time for change. Earth is our planet, and we have the right to be free, sovereign people. That's the bottom line.
Right. Well, we're now running at about 23 minutes into this breaking news update, really. And so I think we have time for one brief question,
Sure.
which is kind of, which I picked up on because just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I helped co-found, along with people in Israel, Exopolitics Israel, which is the first sort of exopolitics organization in Israel. And they were telling me that there's very few UFOs in that area. And I just wanted to ask you, because obviously it seems that in terms of the dynamic of conflict, that Arab, Israeli, Christian kind of conflict is part of the dynamic, and they seem to be the three major, quote, pawns on a chessboard here.
Right.
In your conversations, with the Andromeda Council, did the question of either the Israelis or the Christians or the Arabs in that way ever come up, or was it sort of just a generalized pawns on a chessboard?
I'm going to toss the question back to you so I can get clarification.
Sure.
Well, first I'll answer your question to the degree that I'm aware of what you're asking.
Yeah.
They didn't, when I asked the question and you heard the quote-unquote response, he didn't elaborate, nor did he provide any judgment either for the Israelis, against the Israelis, for any people with Palestinian heritage, or against people with Palestinian heritage. There was no discernment or judgment regarding either of those people, simply that the people in this specific region have all been affected for thousands of years because of this reptilian base. I'll give you an example. If you or I or anybody, I'm going to give a real world example. If we're out and we're listening to a concert, Andrea Bocelli singing Italian, his own version of Italian opera, or if we're listening to some classical music like Mozart or Haydn, there's a certain vibrational frequency to his voice, and there's a certain vibrational frequency to that music. And I would venture to say that everybody in the audience, pretty much everybody in the audience, is will be affected by those particular frequencies. Now, in a comparison, if we went to a heavy metal or rock concert, which had deeper tonal qualities, lower vibrations, some of the older heavy metal rock music can get pretty, aggressive. Exactly. I would venture to say that pretty much all the people at a concert listening to that kind of music would feel differently than if they were listening to classical or Andrea Bocelli. And my point here is that those vibrations don't discern who's sitting in the audience. It's who's ever there, who's ever attending that concert. So I don't see any finger pointing at either Arabs, Israelis, people from Syria, people from Turkey, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Pakistan. It's just that there's a severely agitating, irritating, anger-inducing vibration that's been pumped into that region for 5,000 years.
Right.
So
right.
Did I answer the question you were asking?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And kind of as a follow-on, since we're at the beginning of the takeout of these bases, but if we sort of follow it through, that will be successful. It seems that this clearing process where these artificially introduced mechanisms for creating conflict and fear in the human population by an outside predatory species like the Draco Reptilians or the Orion Greys.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. That once we've eliminated that really opens the way for what we've talked about, which is, or what the Andromeda Council has talked about, and we've sort of discussed, is the transformation of the planet through various means, including what some call dimensional shift, what some call expansion of consciousness. It's a whole wide umbrella of terms. Is that a perspective you would agree with, or?
I'm pausing because it's such a large area of discussion and encompasses so much information and perspectives.
Yeah.
But yes, in general, I think absolutely. I can tell you this. I can tell you that she's the spiritual advisor, Tonka, who's a wise elder. The commander from the primary biosphere, the vice chairwoman of the Andromeda Council, the chairman of the Andromeda Council, all these people that I speak with, to a person, they've all said that as one of the most important things that they can do to help contribute to our involvement, our own transition, if you will, is to get these malevolent entities off our planet. Gone. This is our planet. This has been a planet of human beings for years, and to whatever degree that there were large reptilians running around controlling this place years ago, otherwise known as dinosaurs, they're gone. They're extinct. They're out of here. So now we need to clean up the reptilians from Draco and Hydra, who've been here for at least 5,000 years, based on this statement, beaming these destructive frequencies to the people in this region. And I'm certainly aware of this one, the one off of China. We know about the ones in the U.S., the many of them in the U.S. that have been taken out, and there are others around the world that have been taken out. These two are the most challenging. But so you have number one priority of get the planet cleaned up of these aggressive, malicious, malevolent beings. Help the people of planet Earth to as much of a degree as they want help. Help them through this evolution process. And the more that they clean up this planet, and the more Greys and Reptilians, they want them all gone. They've said to me a number of times, they need to be off this planet so that you people can evolve peacefully. And it's interesting that I know a lot of people have wondered about this and questioned this. They really want to get rid of these reptilians and Greys before they start physically visiting and interacting with people. They want to make sure that this planet is secure and peaceful without being terrorized, so that the people from the Andromeda Council can come here from the 4 planets that we talked about, interact with people on a one-on-one basis, answer whatever questions are necessary, and help in the process of transformation, evolution into being a fourth-dimensional world. Maybe a long answer, but that's what they told me.
Thank you. Well, Talik, we really want to thank you for this.
So really, we just heard a bunch of bullshit. because those reptilians are not going anywhere, man. They're everywhere. You sound good and all of that, but I can show you that these things are everywhere. I mean, they're not just in that little base or this little base. The entire planet is covered. They're in the air, they're in space, on the moon. Why didn't you talk about the moon? Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury. Oh, I can show you places after places. Even in Pluto. Look at the lines. Just look at this highway that are all like tunnels. This Earth looked like it was terraformed, and it was. Look, there are plates, rectangular plates here, and thousands upon thousands of miles of plates and tubes, and I wonder if this planet is, my God, there is all kinds of shit there, and structures. Now we know the Anunnaki were looking for gold in the ocean, and some of those tracks might be from their machinery, but I mean, I keep finding more and more. Look at this right here. It's just not in one place, it's all over, and you can see the image was blurred out. This whole thing has been blurred out. They put a blanket over it, but you can still see the lines. There are all those geometrical lines. And this is in Sumatra. This is Japan right there. Imagine. The entire planet is just discovered these caves right here in Chile that start in the ocean, and they have already discovered 150 kilometers. That's about 80, 90 miles inward. And look at the rectangular plates that makes, and those rectangular plates make triangular plates. Look, they are in triangular shapes, gigantic plates. It's like a giant egg that is built in triangular plates. And this is the hole in the North Pole right here. Where is it? Right here. This is where the North Pole, and look at the geometrical lines right there. Perfect. It's the entire globe. You see geometry everywhere. That doesn't make, I mean, it's just, and see the triangular shape thing, everything in triangles. This is Greenland. And there is a gigantic object here that was discovered, but now the picture has been much even worse. But there is an object there that is like 50 miles long by 20 miles wide, and no electricity flows into that thing, and apparently it's a weather control center that controls the weather. And look at